Hello, world. Welcome to episode 65 of the Jimmy Canz Show. It is Classic Supercard Retrospective time. Yet again, let us take a look back at Wrestle War 89 Music City Showdown. All right. It was an NWA event promoted by World Championship Wrestling, and it was held on May 7th, 1989, from the Nashville Municipal Auditorium in Nashville, Tennessee. Attendance was 5,000. It was broadcast live on pay-per-view and later released on home video, courtesy of Turner Home Entertainment. Action was called by Jim Ross and Bob Caudle. Nine match card, and it also featured a mini 8-song concert by legendary country group the Oak Ridge Boys. So there was that. Let's get into it. All right. Our opening contest was a makeshift match. It pitted the great Muta with Gary Hart in his corner against Doug Gilbert with Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert in his corner. This was originally scheduled to be Muta against Junkyard Dog. JYD didn't make the show. Transportation issues or what have you wasn't there. They needed to ad lib. This was in Tennessee. That's Gilbert's backyard. Doug, was just breaking into the business, happened to be in the area. So his older brother got him a gig. And what was, the outcome of this was probably still going to be Muta winning, which he does. Probably would have been a little bit more of a contest if it had been JYD. But, when you have a youngster like Doug Gilbert, who was not really even part of the promotion and was just kind of pulled in to fill in. It was just a 3-minute match to get Muta over. He dominated, the entire match, won it with the moonsault, and Jim Ross actually knew what to call it this time. So the winner in about 3 minutes, the great Muta. Next, we saw Ranger Ross take on Hacksaw Butch Reed. This was a back and forth early, then the action goes to the outside. Reed gets the advantage at that point in time and eventually is able to get the win via a diving shoulder block off the top in about 7 minutes. So nothing spectacular there. Our third match of the night was the bull rope match between Captain Redneck himself, Dick Murdoch, and Cowboy Bob Orton Jr., who had Gary Hart in his corner. For those unfamiliar, bull rope match, each man's tied at the wrist with the bull rope. Cowbell attached in the middle can be used as a weapon. This was, not that great of a match. Murdoch used the rope to hog tie Orton. And then, dropped an elbow and got the win in about 5 minutes. It was awkward, clumsy. Orton was just kind of laying there. Nothing was really done to make him lay there. It wasn't a well put together match. And then Orton got his heat back after the match with a post-match beatdown of Murdoch, doing the hangman spot over the rope with the bull rope and all that. So, it was bad. It was bad. So we're 3 matches in, and the card's not starting out all that strong, but it picks up. Next up was a tag team contest, the new tandem in the territory, the Dynamic Dudes, consisting of one young Shane Douglas and Johnny Ace himself, John Laurinaitis, Johnny Ace. They're taking on the Samoan SWAT team, Fatu and Samu, with Paulie Dangerously in their corner. Um, for the most part, it was a good match, but the ending was pretty weak and didn't make a lot of sense in my opinion. So the Samoan SWAT team, dominated most of this match as you would expect, the way that they were built up. And then the finish just looked not impactful whatsoever. And it looked like something that shouldn't have ended a match. It was just odd. So what happened was Johnny Ace hit a missile drop kick into Douglas's back when Fatu was hoisting Douglas up for a slam, and Douglas landed on top of Fatu, covering him for the 3 count. But like I said, it was weak. Everything that the Samoans, can withstand, and something like that ended it. It was just didn't look good, in my opinion, at all. So next up, we have our first title bout of the evening. It is for the NWA United States Championship. Champion, Total Package Lex Luger, defending against Michael P.S. Hayes with Hiro Matsuda in his corner. As one would expect, Matsuda interferes. This allows Hayes to get the advantage. After some early dominance by Luger, and then for some unexplicable reason, the impact of a DDT knocked all 3 men for a loop. Luger, Hayes, and the official all get blown, sky high by the execution of a DDT. It was done so that, longtime Freebird partner and friend Terry Bam Bam Gordy could come run in and interfere, putting Hayes over on top of Luger. The official then comes to, makes the 3 count. So your winner and new U.S. champion, Michael P.S. Hayes. But it was weird that a DDT knocked everybody out. Anyway. Next up, the NWA Television Championship is on the line. Champion Sting defending against the Iron Sheik. And for some reason, the Iron Sheik has Rip Morgan in his corner. So the Iranian Sheik has the New Zealander Rip Morgan in his corner. That makes sense. Anyway, Sheik jumps Sting before the bell. His advantage didn't last long. Sting recovers quickly, dominates Sheik, gets the Scorpion Deathlock on him for the win via submission in just about 2 minutes. So next is the NWA World Championship match. It's the rubber match between champion Ricky the Dragon Steamboat defending against Nature Boy Ric Flair. Flair got the first one, Steamboat got the second one, so this is the rubber match. It's another classic. Like I said, I don't think I've ever seen a Flair Steamboat match that was bad. Goes over 30 minutes, and Flair gets the win in what I like to call Steamboat style. When he gets the Dragon, catches him in an inside cradle for the 1, 2, 3. And Flair is now a 6-time champion. As a result, like I said, as good as this match was, this is probably remembered more for the post-match angle that played out. They used this post-match to kind of turn Flair babyface. Everything. They had him first praising Steamboat, which was uncharacteristic, and then they had They had judges at ringside in case it went to the time limit. It was going to go to the judges. One of those judges was a former NWA champion in its own right, and that was Terry Funk. Funk gets in the ring, challenges Flair, says, "Hey, I'd like a shot at that." Flair says, "With all due respect, there are men ahead of you. You were a great champion in your day, but yada, yada, yada." And anyway, so Flair basically declines it, and then Funk snaps and attacks Flair, culminating in Funk pile driving Flair through the judges' table. So saying that nowadays, you're like, yeah, so what? Someone goes through a table almost every week. But that was not something you saw back in the day. It was really played up. The damage that was done and all the history of Flair with the back of the neck from the plane accident and all this and yada, he's putting his career in jeopardy and yada yada. So he said it was all played out really well. It did what they wanted it to do, and it got Flair, into the babyface role. So next up is the NWA World Tag Team Championship match. Champions, the Varsity Club, represented by Dr. Death Steve Williams and Mike Rotunda. They had the Games Master Kevin Sullivan in their corner, and they took on the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, with Precious Paul Ellering in their corner. Special referee in this one was the Russian Nightmare, Nikita Koloff. And this was a typical Road Warriors match. Chaotic and not very long. So eventually the Warriors end up hitting a Doomsday, but Sullivan and Spivey, who's now part of the Varsity Club as well, pull Koloff out of the ring and start, the beatdown. This then causes the disqualification. So the Road Warriors are your winners via disqualification. So they win the match, but don't get back the titles. So Varsity Club retains in that fashion. Next was the main event of the show. Not sure why, but this wasn't the final match to go on, and it was for the NWA United States Tag Team Championship. Champions, the First Family, which consisted of Rick Steiner and Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. They had Missy Hyatt in their corner, and they took on the Varsity Club, represented by Games Master Kevin Sullivan and Dangerous Danny Spivey. Spivey and attacks Steiner before the bell, ends up posting him on the outside to put him out of action kind of for the majority of the match. Gilbert was the hometown guy here. He's a native Tennessean, so I think this is why they put this match on last, even though it doesn't make a lot of sense to have not just this tag team match being your final one, but this is your secondary tag team title. It's not even your main tag team title. Your secondary tag team title is your last thing. When the world title was on the line and the world tag team titles were on the line, just the order of the card, yeah. But anyway, Steiner finally recovers, gets back up on the apron, and there's a false tag. All right, looks like Steiner gets the tag, but he really doesn't. So the heel team's attention divert to Steiner. He gets in and he hits a Steiner line. Sullivan, is confused as to kind of what's going on. His attention is on Steiner. He thinks Steiner's the legal man. He's really not. This allows Gilbert to take advantage of the confusion. As he's still legal, he hits a sunset flip on Sullivan for a 3 to retain the titles. So there's your lot. So that was it. It's the entire show. Like I said, I'm not going to recap the mini concert, but those are all the matches. Um, it was a better overall show compared to the previous Clash. Obviously, getting all the title matches on a card helps it, where they had to ad lib and pull some off on that Clash. But they did what they set out to do with this show, and that was, turn Flair babyface, set up a feud with Funk, and then also there was fallout from the controversial finish of the World Tag Team match. Not only did you have the tag titles, change hands recently controversially, but now you have this other controversial finish. So because of all of that controversy, they vacate the tag team titles and set up a tournament to crown new tag team champions that will is an 8-team tournament and will culminate at the next Clash. So they were able to get the wheels of that in motion as well. So like I said, I think it was better than the last Clash. All in all, my 10 belt scale, I will give Wrestle War 89 a 6. Yeah, it's a 6 out of 10. So there you have it. Next up in the classic retrospectives is the aforementioned Clash of the Champions 7 Guts and Glory. So we will have the finals of the semifinals and finals of the World Tag Team Championship Tournament on this show. So I hope wherever you are, you're all doing well. Take care of one another, and I will see you when I see you.